Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits and all of that good stuff. All right. We got some things we have got to get into. We got some things to get into, guys. And the thing is, like I said, I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope this show finds you in good spirits because we need as many good spirits as we can get tonight on this particular show. The reason why I am saying that is because there is a family grieving right now. This is a very, very heartbreaking story, breaking case. And so we have got to talk about this because honestly, this is a full-on warning, cautionary tale, if you will, for every single one of us that are out here. And we just need to talk about this. This case really grabbed me and really hurts. This is not going to be an easy conversation. This is not going to be an easy show. I'm just going to let you guys know. But what else is new whenever we're talking about true crime cases like these? But I do think that this is something that we all need to be aware of, especially those who are out here in the dating pool, out here dating and whatnot. So do me a favor, guys. Before we get everything rocking and rolling, before we get this whole conversation moving, do me a favor. All right. And of course, I want to say, of course, too, real quick, justice for Sade Robinson. Justice for Sade Robinson right off the bat. Okay. So if you guys don't know about this case, you're about to learn very, very soon. So please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. That would really mean a lot. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on any other platforms. That would really mean a lot. Hit that follow button on Facebook. Follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, all of those and then some. And if you haven't done it yet, crush that subscribe button on my YouTube channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. All right. So hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. Go support the channel by hitting that join button down below. Become a member of the family if you're watching on YouTube. Also, check out patreon.com/The Pascal Show. If you want to support it any further, it's in the ticker down below, going that way right now as we speak. So go check it out. And of course, check out pascalmerch.com. Okay? We got some really great merch, really great swag. Go check it out. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, guys. We have got to talk about this. You guys have, I've been knowing about this case, but a lot of y'all have hit me up about this case and have been asking me, please, can you please cover this case? And trust me, I have been seeing this, watching this, looking at this at the corner of my eye. And I definitely, sorry, my mic stand is acting a fool, but I definitely wanted to be able to get a chance to talk to you guys about this particular case. And the case that I'm talking about is that of 19-year-old Sade Robinson. She was on a date. She went on a date with a monster and never returned home. In fact, her severed leg, I can't find any code words for this, guys, but her severed leg was found in a park a day after the date that she had. Now, the thing is there's a lot to dissect here. There's a lot to talk about here. My heart, my thoughts, my prayers, my well wishes, my condolences go out to Sade Robinson's family. We have some interview clips from the likes of Nancy Grace and all that. We are going to be looking at her mother has spoken out. She has been very vocal, understandably very vocal out here in these streets. And we are going to talk and we're going to listen And we're going to figure out what the heck happened here in this unbelievable, heartbreaking case of Sade Robinson. Again, she was 19 years old, guys. She worked at a pizza joint. She had the dreams of becoming or getting into criminal justice. Maybe she wanted to get into true crime. I don't know. But nonetheless, this young girl, this young woman was very excited about the date that she was about to have. She was having correspondence or text messages with this monster that has now been locked up, talking about seafood. She went out with this individual. Seemed like, I guess, from what everybody else was saying, seemed like the date was going just fine. And then all of a sudden, she just disappears. She sends out a snap, like a snap message to one of her friends. And then all of a sudden after that, she is never heard from or seen again until her severed leg is seen or is spotted, discovered in a park. And of course, now there's more information. Now they have a monster locked up right now, and he is facing some serious charges. A lot of us want to know what the hell happened here. So do I. We are still trying to figure things out. Even myself, I'm still trying to figure it out as we speak myself. So we're going to be looking through this and going through this as a family, bit by bit, so we can understand a little bit more of what happened here. And I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I beg you guys, please be careful out there with who you go on dates with, who you correspond with, because you just don't know who you're talking to, who's on the receiving end of those messages and whatnot. You know, you'd think that going and looking for love is already tough enough. Going on dates is not easy. It's nerve-wracking. You're hoping that person likes you. You hope that you don't come off too much of some type of way. You hope the dress looks good on you. You hope the shirt is fitting and making you look good. Those are the things that should be the only things we should worry about when it comes to going on dates. But now we live in a different time. We live in a very, very crazy and different time. And what's sad is that you have people like this piece of work, like this man right here by the name of Maxwell Anderson. Yes, that's really his name. That does some unthinkable things after a date with a 19-year-old woman by the name of Sade Robinson. It's pretty crazy and unthinkable things. It's pretty crazy, and I cannot believe that this is even a true story. I can't believe we're even covering this and talking about this. But this is real stuff, guys. Looking for love is hard. It shouldn't be this hard. We shouldn't have to be dodging and worried about our livelihood just going and grabbing sushi with a complete stranger that you hope you'll make a love connection with. We got some things we got to look at, guys. This is crazy. Again, this is absolutely crazy. I got an article that I'm going to read through here really quick because I know that some of y'all know about this case and some of y'all don't. Myself, I'm still fairly new to this case. So we're going to be going through it together as a family. And of course, there's some news clips that we're going to be looking at and all that as well. But first, let's take a look at this article here. Okay. A college student told friends she was excited for a first date. Part of her dismembered body was found on a beach a day later. So this young woman, like I said, had dreams and aspirations of a better life, dreams and aspirations of finding a good man and just living her life. And then, of course, she just met the wrong one. She met the wrong guy. And it's very unfortunate. And I will say this too, love who you want to love. Okay. Because I know that there's been a lot of other content creators that have been taking it down a different route, and so on. And listen, I don't know what this guy's story. I don't know what his story is. I don't know why he picked Sade of all people. We don't know if this is the only person that he's done this to. There may be multiple. He could be a serial monster, for crying out loud. But I do want to say, before anything, before everyone starts turning it and throwing the race card on the table, please remember, this is a human being that lost their life, regardless of their race, regardless of their sex, their age, whatever they believed in, whatever. This is somebody who lost their life. Is it racially motivated? We do not know. All we know is that this piece of trash did this unthinkable thing to this young woman, period. And until we find out more information, I say we sit on that and wait. But she deserves just as much justice as anybody else. People are saying crazy stuff out here in these streets. Unthinkable, unreasonable things out here in these streets. Let's bring respect back on the table, please and thank you. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the case. So, says Sade Robinson had been excited for her date. The 19-year-old had arranged to meet up with a man at a Milwaukee seafood restaurant on the evening of 1st of April. Sometime later that night, she sent a Snapchat message to a friend from a bar nearby. It was the last time she was seen alive. The next day, police were called after a passerby discovered a severed leg on a beach in Warmont Park. The limb was cut off just below the hip socket and appeared to have been sawn off. The toes on the feet were painted with pink nail polish. Robinson, who had dreams of pursuing a career in criminal justice, was reported missing that evening by a concerned friend who told police that she had not turned up for work and was not answering phone calls. The friend showed officers the snap, placing Robinson at Duke's on Water Sports Bar, which was the last contact they had had with her. Investigators discovered that Robinson had arranged to meet 33-year-old piece of trash Maxwell Anderson at the Twisted Fisherman seafood restaurant at around 5 p.m. I love seafood, she had written to him in one of her last text messages. Surveillance footage from the restaurant showed the pair sitting at the bar, enjoying drinks for around an hour before leaving together. Anderson was later identified as having been an employee at the bar. Okay. So one thing a few takeaways we can get, because instantly I'm going, how is she able to drink? How is she able to drink right now if she's 19 at this bar? Oh, I get it now. He works at the bar. So I'm sure the bartender was like, oh, you're with him, you're good. This woman's 19. She's not of legal age to drink. Just so you know. Okay? But he was able to, I'm sure, talk the bartender into hooking her up with drinks on their first date at this restaurant in which he already worked at. Okay. Does he get an employee discount? That's what I'd like to know. Because that sounds like somebody who's trying to take her to the Cheesecake Factory rather than actually taking her out on a date. You know what I'm saying? You heard about the Cheesecake Factory thing? Never mind. We'll talk about it another time. But let's get into this, okay? So they show up and they're at this bar drinking. This is a place that he used to work at or he works at. So he knew the bartender, okay? Which is interesting. Another friend of Robinson told detectives that after learning of her disappearance on the news, she had used a phone app to look up her location. The last recorded location placed Robinson's phone in Warnemount. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Warnemount Park in the early hours of the 2nd of April. Anderson was then arrested on the 4th of April and charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of remains, and arson charges relating to Robinson's demise. There's the piece of trash again. Again, like I said, this is not good. Okay. She seemingly was like, hey, everything's cool. This is I can't wait for this date from other accounts. You'll hear that I'll be reading to you guys here in a second. She is expressing some serious excitement about meeting and going on this date with this guy. She's going, oh, he's cute. I can't wait. Blah, blah, blah. Finally, maybe, a good man or something. I don't know. They go out and have some drinks. And then next thing you know, boom, she disappears. And then her leg is found in this park, on the beach in this park, which is pretty crazy, to be completely honest. Okay? Hold on one second, guys. So, back at it again. And yes, Lakeisha, I agree. This is absolutely, absolutely horrible. Okay? This is absolutely awful. No person deserves this at all. So now we got this timeline, okay? Data collected from phone location tracking apps provided by friends and Robinson's mother gave a more detailed picture of the young woman's movements on the evening of April 1st, according to a criminal complaint against Anderson filed in Milwaukee County Circuit Court. So surveillance footage from Twisted Fisherman had shown the pair meeting around 5:20 p.m., where they stayed until 6:24 p.m. Anderson had told a bartender that the meeting had been a quote-unquote first date. According to police, an employee of the building where Robinson lives said she would frequently see and speak with the victim, who told her that she had been excited for the first date. Now, real quick, let me finish this last part. From 6:29 to 6:35 p.m., Robinson had traveled to the area of Dukes on Water, where she appeared to have stayed for around 2 hours before heading to an address on South Oklahoma Avenue, later determined to be Anderson's. Okay. Interesting. I got questions about that. But let's continue. Location data appeared to show that Robinson had stayed at the address for at least 3.5 hours before the device was moved north to an area of Kern Park by part of the Milwaukee River at around 1 a.m. From there, the phone traveled south to Warnemount Park, where it remained stationary and eventually ran out of battery at around 4:35 a.m. A police report noted that the final location was in part of the park, quote unquote, that encompasses the location where the leg was discovered. Around 3 hours later, at 7:32 a.m., members of the Milwaukee Fire Department responded to a vehicle fire in the west part of Milwaukee, near to Washington Park. Firefighters found that the vehicle, a 2020 Honda Civic, had sustained extreme fire damage. A check of the registration revealed the car had belonged to Robinson. Now, one thing I do want to point out really quick, okay? Real quick. First, I want to say this. And we got to break this timeline down just a little bit. But first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this really quick. I think it's incredibly important that we let people know your movements. I know that sounds a little bit weird because I know some of us move quietly, okay? Like the great Lil Wayne will say, real G's move in silence like lasagna. I get it. I fully get it. But I'm sure you got a friend of yours that you can hit up and say, hey, yeah, about to talk to this pretty little thing, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I got this date. I'm just letting you know. Ladies, especially too. We live in a world where both sides should be very, very careful about how we move out here in these streets. So I urge every single last one of y'all, please contact your friend. I'm sure y'all got a bestie. Don't y'all have a bestie? Y'all have a bestie somewhere. So don't say you don't. If it has to be your mama, let it be your mama. But at least contact the people that you care to let them know, hey, I got this date. I'm just letting you guys know that I'm about to go on this date. That is it. Doesn't mean that you think that the person's a serial killer. Doesn't mean that you think that the person's a monster. But hey, I'd rather err on the side of caution than not err on the side of caution at all and then end up disappeared. So I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, talk to your friends, or at least just text your mama. Okay? Talk to your mama and just let her know. Okay? Or your dad. Okay? No, you know what I mean? No shade. Talk to your dad. Holla at your boy and say, hey, Pops, hey, yo, Pop, I'm about to have this date. I'm about to go to this spot I ain't been to. Just letting you know I'm going on the date. I'll let you know how it goes. See you when I see you. Click. That's it. That's it. As long as there's an open conversation, open room for conversation, then, hey, nothing weird goes down, right? Or if something does go down that's weird, they're able to find you, hopefully lickety-split, okay? That's one thing that I think we need to learn and take from this as well, okay? Because not every single person clearly is out here for all of our best interest, okay? And I will tell you this, we look at this face and oh my God, okay? You know what I mean? It makes me think of haters. But at the same time, haters. But at the same time, I guarantee you his Tinder or whatever, however she met him, I'm sure his Facebook or his Instagram or, his Tinder, okay, profile photo does not look like this. I guarantee you he's holding a puppy or something. You know what I mean? I like dogs. You know what I mean? I'm cuddly wuddly. I'm just a hot bartender. Whatever it may be. I guarantee you it was not like this. And all I'm trying to say is just be safe out here. Okay? Just be safe out here. Okay? Let's continue on. Let us continue on. So they were on the date. They were there for about an hour at the Twisted Fisherman. Okay. Then they went they say from 6:29 to 6:35 p.m., Robinson had traveled to the area of Dukes on Water, where she appeared to have stayed for 2 hours before heading to Anderson's place. So they went over to this other bar, kicked it at this other bar for a good long time, and then went over to Anderson's. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people will be wondering, was she going over there for a nightcap? Or was she over there to maybe read the Bible and drink Perrier? I don't know. But she ended up in his house. Okay? But moving on, location data appeared to show that Robinson had stayed at the address for almost 3.5 hours before the device was moved north to an area of Kern Park. by a part of the Milwaukee River at around 1 a.m. So I'm curious. This, of course, was a date. Seemed like maybe the date was going swimmingly. And then he said, like, hey, you want to come over and hang out? Whatever. She said, sure. And of course, within the time that she went into that place, something bad happened. Clearly, something sinister happened inside that house, inside his place. And then, of course, they moved. They went on to move. He went on to move the body, which we're going to look here as well, which is crazy. Again, which is absolutely heartbreaking. Okay. The phone traveled to Warnemont Park, okay, where it remained stationary and eventually ran out of battery until around 4:35 a.m. This was the final location. And this, of course, is the same location where they found the leg. Then 3 hours later, members of the fire department responded to a vehicle that was set on fire. Her own car was set on fire. Clearly, something bad happened in that car, and he was trying to cover up whatever it was, whatever unthinkable, mind-blowing thing that he did to her in this car. Now, a gruesome discovery. Police responded to reports of a human leg being found on the bluffs at Warnemont Park at around 5:30 p.m. on the 2nd of August. The 2nd of April. First responders were led by the citizen who called the police about the leg. Responding deputies located the right leg of what appeared to be a black female, which was, quote unquote, severed just below the hip socket, and appeared to have been sawn off, according to the criminal complaint. The complaint noted that the toes on the feet had pink nail polish, and the leg did not appear to be decomposing. So clearly, this was the crime that was committed was very new. Okay, very recent. The individual who made the gruesome discovery told investigators that he and a friend were walking towards the beach when they saw the leg just north of Warnemont Pump House at the shoreline. So, Milwaukee County Deputy Sheriff Martin reported that the area where the leg was located contains a bluff that is approximately 100 feet tall. The leg was originally found about 2/3 of the way down the bluff towards the water edge. Video footage from near to the pump house later showed a vehicle driving through the area at around 2:50 a.m. on the 1st of April. An employee also stated that the building's service gate had been struck by the vehicle. Broken vehicle parts collected later identified the vehicle as a Honda Civic. So he drove through this gate. According to further footage from the pump house itself, at 3:02 a.m., a human figure is seen descending the bluff to beach level. The figure appeared to make multiple attempts to walk between the beach and the service drive for the pump house and leaves around 90 minutes later. An examination by the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office and DNA testing by the Wisconsin State Crime Lab provided a preliminary conclusion that the leg belonged to Robinson. Additional human remains were found on the 5th and 6th of April, including a human foot that was located in the area where Robinson's car was destroyed. The remains have not yet positively been identified as belonging to Robinson, police said. Now, the thing is like, it's pretty crazy and it's pretty obvious that this guy was going out of his way to try to cover up all of his tracks. Clearly, he did what he did. God knows where and how he did it. We still don't know that part yet. But then he took the remains and was trying to throw this into the water. Okay. Which is bad. But then, of course, I don't think he was very successful. And he may have been doing this all in a rush, it seems like, all in some sort of hurry. Maybe he was worried about getting caught or trying to do it all before the sun came up or something of that sort. But no matter what, my Lord, this man did this without a shadow of a doubt. Okay? We're going to look at this here too. Let's take a look at this. An eyewitness told investigators that she had seen a white male exit the driver's door of Sade's Honda Civic early on the morning of the 2nd of April. She then observed the man light a lighter and toss it into the driver's door window of the vehicle. Here he is. I guarantee you there's more people. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be real. I guarantee you there's more people. I guarantee you there's more people. So annoying. So frustrating. The woman had tried to flag the incident to passing drivers with footage obtained by investigators shouting, "He did that," pointing to the man and calling for someone to call the fire department. The alleged arsonist, a male in dark trousers, dark gray hooded top, and carrying a tan-colored backpack with tan straps, then boarded a city transit bus. Surveillance footage from inside the bus showed that Maxwell Anderson was on board. And there he is. Unbelievable. The burned out Honda Civic was later searched and clothing consistent with that worn by Sade on the evening of the 2nd of April, a black puffer coat, light blue ripped jeans, and white shoes was found. The remnant of an iPhone, consistent of the type of iPhone Robinson was known to have, was also discovered from the vehicle. So, pretty crazy stuff thus far. I got some stuff I want to share with you guys first before we go into more of this article. But I do appreciate this article very much because it gives us a very good broad stroke breakdown of everything. And it's pretty crazy the more information that's been said later. I've heard some other things about what was inside of his home, which is pretty insane to begin with. Hopefully we'll be able to cover that and talk about that in a second. But before we go into this news clip, please do me a favor. Excuse me. Hit that like button down below, please and thank you. Please, 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 please do that for me, okay? That would really, really mean a lot, okay? And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button as well. That'd be greatly appreciated, okay? Let's get into this news clip. This is one of the first of many, okay, news clips, but I wanted to share this one. This is when she was reported missing, okay? So let's take a look at this.
Yeah, they say this is very unlike her. They're a very close-knit family that's always keeping tabs on each other. Robinson's mother says that she's worried sick and heartbroken.
So we spent Easter Sunday with my baby Sunday over here by my parents.
Sheena Scarborough recalling the last time she saw her daughter, 19-year-old Sade Carlina Robinson.
It was like, you know, a normal family visit. Like, we had a good engagement.
Milwaukee police say someone last saw Sade the next day, Monday, April 1st, at her home near Commerce and Pleasant. Scarborough says she last heard from her daughter via text Monday afternoon.
We talk every day. We're a very close-knit family.
Scarborough says after Sade didn't show up for work Tuesday at Pizza Shuttle, a coworker called Milwaukee police and asked them to do a welfare check. Police didn't find her, but Scarborough says detectives did find her daughter's car burnt near 30th and Lisbon. That's about 2 miles from her home. What do you think happened to her?
Somebody harmed or hurt my daughter.
Robinson was studying criminal justice at MATC, had 2 jobs, and was about to join the Air Force.
That's crazy, guys. Okay? Hardworking kid. Hardworking kid. And suddenly, boom. Because she just went on a date, y'all. Because she went on a date. Can you believe that? Unbelievable, guys. Okay, let me continue.
Family says she wouldn't just go off on her own. Her family's begging for her safe return.
She's scheduled to graduate next month. Her birthday is May the 10th. Sade Sheena, that's my baby.
Just so much heartbreak there. Emily, her mother says the last text message from her daughter seemed unusual.
Now, obviously, we already know the kind of like the end result of this part here, but I did want to share with you guys the like kind of one of the starting part of all this. But again, you have this young woman just going on a date, just hanging out, meeting a guy, thinking that he's cute, corresponding with this guy, setting up a date, thinking that this could be, hopefully this is a fun time. Seemingly, it sounds like she was having a good time until she got into his home. And then once she got into his home, that's when everything goes south. Pretty unbelievable, to be completely honest. Shout out to Court TV. What's up? Sup, Court TV in the house. And yes, justice for Sade all day long, okay? This is absolutely heartbreaking information, okay? And we ain't done yet. We still got more, okay? We still have more. But appreciate Court TV for being in here. Appreciate all y'all for being in here and being a part of this conversation because, again, there are so many other cases that have been going on out here that deserve some more light under the sun, that deserve to be even said, talked about, discussed, etc. Not only is this one just heartbreaking, but it also is a huge wake-up call, I think, for a lot of people out here that are still in the dating scene. You can't just trust what you see on Tinder or on Grindr or on Bumble or on any of these other Hinge. What other ones are there? Okay, there's so many different dating sites. We can't trust what we see on an avatar. Oh, he's got a dog. He seems like he's a nice guy. You don't know that. You don't know that. Okay? Oh, she seems very sweet. Okay? No, you don't know that. You really don't. So we need to be careful out here, guys. We really, really do. In this day and age, we live in a crazy, crazy time. There are too many people out here doing all kinds of bad and thinking that they can really get away with it. And we're seeing that consistently, even just on our littles. Even when we hear about it on our littles, it's the same thing for kids and young adults and adults in general that are just trying to find love. Consensual love. Okay? So we need to be careful out here, guys. We really, really do. We really, really do. But let me continue on. I'm going to share this other news clip with you guys.
Our big story tonight at 5. A person of interest is now an accused killer. 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson is charged in the death of 19-year-old Sade Robinson.
Fox 6's Durante Matthews was in the courtroom today and joins us live now to break down what happened.
Yeah, and Bria and Steph, it was a really difficult experience for Sade Robinson's family today, having to sit there in the courtroom and listen to all the gruesome details surrounding her death. And now that they say that Anderson is charged, they now want a conviction.
This sick son of a is gonna pay.
Barely speaking above a whisper.
This is justice for Sade.
And fighting back tears.
Who the would do something like this to my beautiful baby?
Let me just keep it a buck with y'all. If I were her, I'd be exact. I'm her. I'm her right now. I wouldn't care. There'd be no filter. If this happened to my kid, and this is how it happened, man, she is very calm. Okay, that would not be me. All right, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Every 4-letter word I could think of would be coming out. Okay, this man would know me. He would know me. Okay. So I feel this woman so bad. I feel her in her frustration and her sadness and shock and all that. It's crazy, but let's continue.
Sheena Scarborough
She hurt nobody.
was pushing forward for her daughter, 19-year-old Sade Robinson.
Yeah.
Friday, Robinson's family sat in court and heard the grim details surrounding her death, while staring at the man accused of taking her life, 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson.
The allegations in the complaint are abhorrent. It was the highest level of violence imaginable.
Prosecutors say Anderson and Robinson were going on a date Monday evening on April 1st. The state says they went back to Anderson's Southside apartment around 9 o'clock, where they say he killed her between then and early Tuesday morning. They say he then dismembered her body and scattered pieces around the county.
Defendant did a tremendous amount of work to try to cover up the crime, including lighting Miss Robinson's vehicle on fire.
Last week, police found and connected a severed human leg in Cudahy and a foot in Milwaukee to Robinson. After text messages and witness statements linked the two together, Anderson was arrested April 4th during a traffic stop. He's now charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and arson.
Sade was more than a person. She was an angel. Not having her right now is very painful.
Family says the entire timeline has them shaken.
Imagine trying to bury your niece with no body for the service. I need justice for Sade.
And they want the person responsible to pay. And Anderson's attorney also tried to get that first-degree intentional homicide charge dismissed, saying there wasn't enough evidence to prove it, but that was dismissed. And he's in jail tonight on a $5 million cash bond. That is, his attorney also tried to get reduced to $500,000, and that request was also dismissed. He's due back in court April 22nd. Live outside the Milwaukee County Courthouse, Durante Matthews, Fox 6 News.
Yeah, I mean, and of course I get it. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be heavily affected by this case, heavily affected by the unaliving of this young woman. I mean, she was only 19, guys. 19 years old. And she's still he's 30 he was 33. He is 33 years old, everybody. And now she's no longer here. What I want to know, and maybe this is just me being the inquisitive mother lover that I am, but I really want to know what happened here. What triggered this guy to do this? What transpired when she got to the house? When she walked into the house, did she even make it inside the house? That's one piece that I'm kind of curious about. Is, like I said, I'm still very shocked about this case, but let's continue here.
All right, Demarante, thank you for that.
The top cops from both the City of Milwaukee Police Department and the County Sheriff's Office say it took a lot of cooperation from multiple agencies to work on this investigation. More than a dozen agencies, local, state, and federal, are all working on this investigation. Milwaukee County Sheriff Danita Ball and Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman both spoke today. They both offered their condolences to the family of Robinson, and they said they are working to get justice for them.
And I hope that they work justice to, I hope they're working everything they can. They're doing everything they can to take this bad guy down. Obviously, he is locked up right now, but I am still wondering, are there more? That's it. Are there more victims? I just feel in my body that this ain't his first rodeo. I don't think that this is his first rodeo. Maybe this is his first time doing it the way he did it, maybe burning the car and all that. Because I feel like there would be other stories of finding severed limbs or severed parts and a burned vehicle type thing in other occasions and other situations and other cases. But I don't think that that's the case. Could this very well be his only victim? I don't know. I feel like he has more. I feel like he has more. Something just doesn't feel right. Okay? Something just doesn't feel right. But let's continue on. Let me give you guys a little bit. My mouse is freaking out. Let me just show you guys a little bit of this stuff here, okay? All right. So this is about his arrest. All right. So he was arrested on Friday, 4th of April, 2 days after the initial discovery of her remains and reports of her disappearance. The complaint alleged that he had intentionally unalived and then took her apart. Okay, got to use these code words, with the intent to conceal the homicide. And it occurred between the arrival of the defendant's residence and his departure from the park area. So now he is held on $5 million bond for first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of remains, and arson, okay, in the demise of Sade Robinson. And they say a preliminary examination is set for the 22nd of April. The first charge of intentional homicide carries a potential sentence of life imprisonment. And then, of course, the other ones, mutilating a corpse, can result in a $25,000 fine, 12 and a half years in prison, or both. And arson, the arson charge carries a potential of up to 3.5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine, or both. Now, I really do think this was absolutely 110% premeditated. That's what I feel. I think that he found his target and then he pounced. He wined and dined her and took her home and then did this unthinkable thing. Now, the thing is I still haven't found any confirmation of this, and I'm still trying to find it, saying something about him having some sort of dungeon, some sort of sex dungeon in his home. I still haven't found anything of that sort showing proof positive that, of reports of that, but I'm hearing that he had some sort of sex dungeon in his home. Think about that for a second. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, Miss Curvy, send it my way. That's fine. If you have it in article form, that'd be great. Or in video, that'd be great too. Either one. But still, no matter what, in my mind, I keep thinking, well, what is it? Did she go into that house expecting something and she walked into something completely different? I don't know. Did an activity go too far where it turned tragic and then he tried to cover his tracks? But like I said, this doesn't seem like this guy does not seem like this is his first time doing something like this. So like I said, I'm kind of curious. If there's connections to other victims. And if any of them have to do with the dungeon that allegedly is in his house. Which is even more terrifying to think about. Let me play another. I got some more news clips here. Okay. We got the press conference as well we're going to look at in a second. But I got a few things about her missing, friends speak out, and all that as well. I'm going to play this one here really quick.
Now to the talk of Anderson's connection to a missing person. No names were spoken in court this morning, but the family of Sade Robinson was in the courtroom. Our Megan Lee in Cudahy now, where Robinson's friends and family are searching for new clues to her disappearance.
That's right, Steve. Family and friends of Sade Robinson just got here at Warnemont Park to continue their search efforts in the missing teen. One of those searchers is Julia Ferreira. She says her son and the missing teen are great friends. She showed me some of these pictures. I want you to take a look at your screen so you can see these photos from Pizza Shuttle. The missing teen has worked at Pizza Shuttle for 4 years now. And
look at this, guys. I mean, she's a kid. She's a kid, y'all. Look at her. She's a kid. How did this happen, man? This is absolutely devastating. She's a kid, y'all. Yes, I know she's 19. Yes, I know she's a woman. I get it. But this is a baby.
Ferreira tells me her son and Sade have been friends. They've leaned on each other, and she says that the Pizza Shuttle is like a family. She is urging the community to continue helping with the search efforts.
We need to bring the heart of Pizza Shuttle back home.
The heart of Pizza Shuttle, Sade Robinson, went missing on April 1st. Today, Julia Ferreira looks at photos of her son Benicio and Sade working together at the restaurant.
They vibed, they listened to music, they laughed. I mean, they talked about everything.
Julia just got back from visiting Benicio at college. She says her son is heartbroken over Sade's disappearance.
I mean, imagine being the friend, you know, hanging out, chilling, enjoying hanging out with your friend, you know, your ace, and then suddenly this happens. And like I said, she's a college student. She's a kid. She's 19. I still can't believe this.
He's devastated. He's still marching on because Sade would want him to, because she would be like, nope, I don't want you to be sad. I want you to keep living your life.
Many Pizza Shuttle employees, too upset to go on camera, tell me her smiley presence is unforgettable. Julia would agree.
Always laughing, smiling, making the customers feel like welcomed and the employees welcomed, and just like always lit up the room.
Family and friends are not losing hope. They want to bring their ray of light safely back home.
She is somebody that is very special, you know, and I hope we can find some answers for her.
Sade's disappearance comes in the same week that body parts have been found in and outside of Milwaukee. I did see Sade's family in court this morning for Maxwell Anderson's first court appearance. However, authorities have not yet connected the body parts or with Sade Robinson. Live in Cudahy. Megan Lee.
To comment. Our next chance to learn more about this case is when Anderson is due back in court. Again, we expect to see him in court again within 72 hours. Susan?
Steve Shamraz, thanks so much. And through our reporting on this story, TMJ4 has learned we actually interviewed Maxwell Anderson on an unrelated topic back in 2016.
Oh.
This is what Maxwell Anderson looked like 8 years ago when we talked to him about banning tobacco at what was then known as Miller Park. This tells us Anderson has ties to the area for nearly a decade.
Now,
wow. Take a look at that. Wow. Ain't that crazy? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's crazy, guys. That's wild, y'all. That's real. Isn't that crazy? I mean, you know, the chances of being on the news for something completely unrelated. I mean, you know, But that's wild. So what was he doing on the news talking about tobacco, the banning of tobacco? What? I guess being a bartender, maybe he was talking about that. I don't know. That's wild, y'all. We got more. We got more to look at. We got some more stuff to look at, but man. See, like the thing is that they found that the one thing I want to point out is that a few things, a few items, or a few body parts have been found. Not all things have been found. Okay. So they still have not found, I hate to say it like this, but they have not fully found all of Sade. So now the question is, where the heck is everything? Where's the rest of her? They only found a few things: feet, a foot, her leg, a few other pieces, but that's about it. It's very disturbing to even say out loud, but yeah, that's all that they found so far. So it's crazy. And the other thing too is that I think one of the things that also helped her to a certain extent, because they were quick to file a missing persons report the very next day, and thank God she did do this, was the fact that she did tell people how excited she was to go on this specific date. You see what I'm saying? Like, she was very excited about it. Like from this other article here, and I already said in this the first article that we just read, but it says right here, let me blow this up again, or blow this up for you guys. Okay, but they said the young student had been looking forward to the date, even telling a worker in her building how excited she was. So she was telling people, like, I can't wait for this date. This guy must have been really, really charming. And that's really sad to even say, because obviously we already know that this man is a freaking monster, but he was clearly a wolf in sheep's clothing, clearly a snake in the grass, and saw an opportunity and pounced. Piece of trash. Woosah.
Anderson appeared in court yesterday where prosecutors say they found blood in his home along with a, quote, sex dungeon. His bond is set at...
I thought I heard it. You see what I'm saying? I could have sworn I heard it, and I was like, I don't know about it. Maybe I was reading, and maybe I heard that wrong somewhere through osmosis and all that stuff. But there it is. I'm rolling that back again. He had a what?
Anderson appeared in court yesterday where prosecutors say they found blood in his home along with a, quote, sex dungeon. His bond is set at $5 million. I'm joined now by Steve Spingola, retired Milwaukee police detective and investigator on the Oxygen Channel's...
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. But yeah, I could have sworn, because I've been watching and absorbing things, articles and videos from surrounding this case, so I can get prepared for a show with you guys at some point. But I've been looking up Sade's case for a little while now. And then I was like, wait a second. Do I remember something about a dungeon? Do I remember something about a dungeon in this guy's house? And then there it is. I was like, okay, yeah, this mother lover actually has a dungeon. I can't use that word the S-E-X word very often here, guys, unfortunately. But he literally has an S dungeon in his crib. So there's a few things that go on in my mind. A few things. One, she came over. Everything was consensual until it went too far within this dungeon. Or she went in and he just attacked her. And then, of course, tried to get rid of the remains. And same thing with the other one, right? Everything was consensual until it wasn't. Everything was cool until it went too far. And then, boom, she loses her life. Then he goes and tries to cover up the tragedy. Could it be that? I don't know. I don't know. But nonetheless, it is still extremely shocking that this guy has a dungeon of the spicy type inside his crib. Now, one of the other things that they did not say in here and that we have not seen in any of the interviews or any of the articles that are out here, I have yet to hear how they actually met. Excuse me. How did they actually meet? Think about that for a second. How did they meet? Online? Where online? Remember, let me just say this really quick, okay? Because clearly it must have been some sort of online dating, like Nicole B just said. Yes, probably some online dating, but what kind of online dating? I know I'm pushing the envelope. I'm pushing the question, but honestly, he has a dungeon in his crib. Excuse me. I am having troubles today. Did she know that what she was walking into? As far as the dungeon part? I'm just asking the questions, guys. They met online. What online app did they meet on? How did they connect? That's instantly the first question I have in my mind. Did they meet through this thing? And then she agreed to go over to his home. Did she walk into his home and then was just shocked when he showed his dungeon? Or did she already know about said dungeon and then walked into the house willing to be a part, willing to check out this dungeon with him and partake? Like I said, something to ask. Because I have yet to hear anything so far about them saying, yes, they met online, or she met him at a bar, or they ran into each other at a club. I haven't heard anything of that sort. At least not me. All I've heard is they went on a date and then she disappeared. And then, of course, her remains were found, or parts of her remains were found. Now, obviously, I'm just asking the questions. I don't know that part. But I am kind of curious as to you're automatically willing to invite somebody over where you have a dungeon in your house. You see what I'm saying? So maybe she knew about the dungeon. I hate to say it like that, but maybe she did and was willing to go there. Or it could be even more sinister and more unthinkable. She goes into the house, sees the dungeon, has a very guttural reaction to it. It angers him, and all hell breaks loose. Again, that's speculation. I don't know. We don't know everything as of yet, but I'm wondering what's up with this. What's up with the dungeon, though? Because that dungeon is very interesting. Let's hear what she got to say and what they got to say about this commentator.
Cold case. He worked extensively on the Jeffrey Dahmer investigation, which also happened in Milwaukee. Welcome to the program, Steve. I got to ask you, this is the same city. This is grisly. There's a sex dungeon. Does this feel a little like the Dahmer case?
First of all, thanks for having me. It does a little, but, when you take a look at the difference between Dahmer and Anderson, Dahmer was a lot more cunning. Anderson here, there's probably a history of mental illness. So you take a look, there's a treasure trove of forensic evidence that's left at his house. and on video cameras and with witnesses. It's a little bit different than with Dahmer, when you got to remember back to 1991, we didn't have any of that. But, you know, there's always those connections, and people are still trying to link Dahmer to other crimes. One of those being Adam Walsh. But, you know, Anderson here, he's just, I don't know, he is not quite as, I guess, charming and as intelligent as you would have expected him to be if he was a serial killer.
Well, I'll tell you, the violent past that we've tracked down of this guy is pretty overwhelming. In 2014, he had a disorderly conduct. He attacked his mom's fiance and stole a car and fled. In 2015, a domestic violence. While living with his grandparents, he smashed glass. He punched a hole in the wall when they suggested that he address his mental health. In 2019, he admitted to punching a man who tried to break up a fight between Anderson and a woman. This is the kind of guy that, you know, should be on people's radar. And shockingly, Sade was a criminal justice student. Are you surprised that maybe she didn't see red flags?
I mean, okay, well, of course. She's asking him these questions, and I understand it. So this is not me trying to attack Miss Banfield at all. But a lot of these monsters out here are chameleons. They will adjust to the environment in which they're in. You're telling me that he was just going to show his true self in front of her in public, being all weird and creepy and scary? Hell no. That's not how he gets his prey. That's how a lot of these guys, these monsters out here, these serial monsters as well, this is what they use as bait. Oh, I'm charming. You know, you love me, blah, blah, blah. Throwing out jokes, maybe some compliments, try to be somewhat, I guess, in their minds, what they consider sexy. And then as soon as they get an opportunity to pounce, they pounce. We've heard it a million times. We've heard this whole thing a million times. In fact, it's the same thing that we hear about people who are out here putting their hands on their loved ones. First, you know, they're all charming and nice and kind and all that stuff. And then as soon as they got you, the true self comes out. Close fist and all. Just being real. So you're telling me this guy, yes, he might be awkward, dangerous, probably shows some serious levels of being just a disgusting, disturbing individual when he's around family. But, you know, you can't pick family now, can you? But when it comes to someone that they look at as prey, what are they going to do? They're going to mimic someone that they think is it has charisma. They're going to mimic what they believe is how they're going to be looked at in some positive way. Oh, I need to win this person over as many times as I can so I can get her in my house. Oh, let me hook her up with some drinks. Think about that for a second. She's 19 years old. She's not legal. She's not of legal age to drink in a bar. I got you. Hey, yo, bro. Hey, come on. Hook us up. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. What you like? Oh, yeah. What do you want? Oh, she wants the such and such. I want that such and such too. Make it two. All right. Get a couple shots too. We good? Yeah. See? When you're with me, I got you. You don't ever have to pull out your fake ID. I got you. And then they sit there and they drink. She's 19 years old. And if she's about that life and she wants to kick it like that, she probably is like, hey, this is an opportunity to get some drinks. I'm going to drink. And all the while, as she's drinking those colors, he continues talking trash. To the point where, oh, he's cute. And a thing of, he invited her over to his house. So he was cute enough and the date was going well enough. He at least was holding on to that mask on his face long enough for her to sit there and say, yeah, I'll go over to your crib. Why not? I'm having fun. Yeah, I'll come through. And then, of course, God forbid something terrible happened when she either walked into the house or after some time in the house. I don't know. I'm actually curious if her drink started tasting like barbecue too. If you get what I'm saying. I'm quite curious about it. But this guy clearly knew how to finesse her to a certain extent to get her to say, yes, I'll come over to your crib. Period. But let's continue.
I teach criminal justice, and yes, I am. Usually there's situational awareness here, but she's a young girl. This older guy's interested in her. He's a bartender. That tells me a little bit about his personality. He's got that gift of gab. And wherever they crossed their paths, she was obviously smitten with him, goes on this date. And let's face it, she's the victim here. There's one bad guy. I don't like it when we blame the victim, but you wonder what went on that night and how she winds up over at his house and eventually dismembered.
What a beautiful woman. Okay. What a beautiful, beautiful young woman. Now, let me just say this, though. There's not much to think about. He finessed her. He charmed the hell out of her. And of course, I'm sure with the help of a little bit of liquid courage, or maybe a lot of bit of liquid courage, she was able to say, hey, I had a really good time. Yeah, why not? We're going to continue tying one on over at his crib. It's going to be fun. He seems like a really nice guy. Nothing bad can happen. And if everything goes well, then maybe we'll do a little something. You just see what I'm saying? You got to remember, hold on. Remember this. Let's look at this timeline one more again. For all those in the nosebleed seats, one more time. Let me just grab this. If I'm correct, they were drinking for a long time. There was a consumption of alcohol for a while. Let me show you what I mean. Surveillance footage, Twisted Fisherman, okay? They were over there at 5:20 p.m. and they left an hour and 4 minutes later. An hour and 4 minutes later, they were sitting at the bar and they were having their first date, having drinks and whatnot. And God knows, he probably was like, hey, I'm gonna give her some drinks. We're gonna kick it. We're gonna do our thing. Bop, 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 bop. Right? We're gonna have some dinner. We're gonna eat. I'm gonna give her an alcoholic drink. We're still gonna talk. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna enjoy this first date. Everything goes well. We go to the next spot. And guess what? They go to another spot. She drives from 6:29 p.m. to 6:35 p.m. She travels. She goes to the area of Dukes on Water. She appeared to have stayed there for around 2 hours before heading to his home. So think about this. She drives over to another spot, which is another bar, and they have more drinks. And they're there for 2 whole hours. She stayed there for around 2 hours. What do you think you're doing at a bar for 2 hours? Drinking water? Hell no, you're not. You're having drinks. You're kicking it. You're having a good time. Allegedly. You're meeting this person and you're having a date. And he's probably plying her with nothing but more alcohol. And she's small, baby. She's small and she's 19. Let's not forget that too. Now, a lot of kids that I know that were doing underage drinking don't have a tolerance like a 33-year-old man who bartends for a living. So, 3 straight hours of drinking. Now, I know that people have to drink a lot longer than that. But if you collectively look at all of it, around 3 hours of them kicking it. And again, she could have had a little bit more at the Dukes, the area of Dukes on Water. And, was feeling pretty good. The other thing though, too, again, Maybe she drank something that tasted like barbecue. You never know. But she still was able to get into her car and drive over to his home. She was still able to operate machinery, operate a car, and get over to his house. Now, here's the other part. Just talking about the timeline here. They were there for two hours. So about 8:35, she goes from his home, or goes from the bar to his home. Now, again, location appeared to show Robinson had stayed at that address for almost 3.5 hours before the device was moved north to the area of Kern Park, but by part of the Milwaukee River at around 1 a.m. So she walks into the crib. She walks into his home. And then God knows what happens inside the crib, inside his home. She was there from 5:20 all the way till about 8:35. So 3 hours or so, give or take. She's hanging out with him. They're drinking. Maybe she eats a little bit of food, but mostly they're drinking. It's not like they went to Duke's on Water, the area of Duke's on Water, to get a cheesecake, get some ice cream. No, they were there for 2 more hours. They were drinking. First date. They're getting to know each other. Probably talking, drinking, having shots, having a great time. Remember, he is a bartender. He's 33 years old. Guarantee you he's got tolerance. She's 19. Do you think she really has tolerance? Doubt it. So after a few drinks, after 2 hours of drinking and having a good old time, she gets invited over to his crib. She goes over there, and then that's where she is there for 3.5 hours before the device moves somewhere else at around 1 a.m. So she willingly went into that guy's house. Willingly. And then something bad happened. Whatever it may be. Whether it was consensual and then everything went to ish, or it was not consensual. As soon as she walked into that house, something bad happened inside that house, and he tried to cover up his wrongdoings, cover up this crime. And it's amazing how quickly she was found, or parts of her were found, and how quickly he was arrested. Thank God for that. God forbid we have another Sebastian Rogers situation on our hands, or a Caleb Harris situation on our hands. So I'm very thankful for that. Quick, swift turnaround for justice, but hopefully this mother lover is buried under the prison here very, very soon. We got more. A little bit of talk about, well, hold on. Yeah, a little bit of talk about Maxwell Anderson. Him, we're going to hear a little bit about him here. Let's take a look. Come on.
Court documents say Anderson and Robinson were meeting up for that first date on Monday, April 1st. They started at a Menominee Valley bar, the Twisted Fisherman, before heading over to Duke's on Water, which is in downtown Milwaukee. That phone is then traced to right here, Anderson's home at 39th in Oklahoma. And we know Robinson was never seen again. This new exclusive video appears to capture the moment investigators took Maxwell Anderson into custody near his home at 39th in Oklahoma, following a whirlwind investigation that started April 2nd.
Milwaukee County 911 dispatch received a call from Cudahy Police Department regarding a severed leg at Warnemont Park. Subsequently, a Milwaukee police officer who was aware of our investigation raised the possibility that the leg may be related to a missing person investigation that they were conducting.
That missing person, Sade Robinson.
Unbelievable, guys.
A criminal complaint released Friday says investigators used her cell phone records to follow her movements the night before on April 1st for what was supposed to be a first date with Anderson. After dinner and drinks, Robinson's phone was tracked to Anderson's home for 3 hours. An hour later, her phone pinged at Kern Park. And then following a drive across the city, its last trace to Warnemont Park, the same spot investigators found that severed leg. April 2nd, the Milwaukee police found Robinson's car torched near 31st and Lisbon, her clothes and phone in the trunk. 12 News has since learned footage from a city bus near that time and place captured Anderson. In the following days, police and Robinson's family searched that Walnut Hill neighborhood and found a foot and human flesh.
There is a question I do have, of course, that they talked about on Banfield that I do want to echo again. I mean, is this a Dahmer wannabe, or is this somebody who just, I mean, I'm not, listen, I ain't trying to belittle any of this, but was this a first time thing? Or has he done this? Like I said, has he done this before? Because let's be real. The way he moved and maneuvered out here, he either has thought about this before at some point in his life. And then, of course, the situation happened and therefore he did it. Or he really has done this. And there are other victims out here. And I keep wondering, are there other women that meet the same MO, the same physical attributes like Sade? Are there other missing, unalived, possibly Black women that are victims of this monster? Dahmer had a thing. Dahmer most definitely had a thing. So does this guy have a thing too? And where are those victims as well? You got a dungeon in your crib. You got a dungeon in your crib. Let me just say that again. Have mercy.
Returned to the area when Miss Robinson's family located her blanket. At this time, detectives located additional human remains.
DNA results on the foot are pending, but DNA results confirm the severed leg is Robinson's.
Do you know how she died?
Can't comment on that.
Investigators also not detailing where.
Hold on, I'm rolling that back.
Are pending, but DNA results confirm the severed leg is Robinson's.
Do you know how she died?
Can't comment on that.
Investigators.
I don't think they can comment on that because I don't know if they have all of her. So how would they know how she passed if they don't have all of her? I know that sounds messed up to say, but how do they know? You see what I'm saying? Real quick, I got to take one quick moment to just say, hey, Campbell, how you doing? I'm hoping you're feeling a lot better, and I'm playing this to make you smile right now. Yes, because I know we all go through some times, and we all get through some dark times. And hey, every once in a while, we need that person that's going to lift us up and make us smile again. And so, hey, it's not cheesy. I appreciate that you found family and friends in this chat. We got your back, okay? We got your back, girl. And so I'm going to do this again. Positivity. Okay, Campbell? We love you. Let's move back in here, all right? But I don't think that they am going back into it. I'm so sorry. Jumping right back into it. But hey, this doesn't automatically, like, just because they're able to identify the leg does not automatically mean that they know how she passed. So they probably can't even say that they can even respond to that or comment on it because they don't know. You see what I'm saying? But moving on.
There's also not detailing where the homicide occurred, a possible motive, a weapon, or what they found when they searched his home, other than blood in a bedroom and blood on the walls leading to the basement.
Oh, so you see what I'm saying? Clearly, this is probably the blood on the walls and all that are most likely her. But like I said, are there other traces of other people? That's the question that I'd like to know. He had a dungeon, y'all. A dungeon.
Law enforcement sources told 12 News investigators did find what was described as a sex dungeon.
What did you find inside that home, specifically in the basement?
Cannot release that at this time.
Hannah, the sheriff confirmed they are reviewing other missing person cases to see if there's any connection to this one.
Right, Patrick. They're looking for any link to this case. But today, the sheriff did say right now they do not have any evidence that leads them to any other victims.
Yeah, I know that everybody and their mom is going to be asking that because we are all smart individuals. And if you've covered a true crime case 1 or 2 times or 15 million times in your life, you're instantly going to start asking, could there be other people? Could there be other victims? Instantly. Now, they're saying that there isn't, but I don't know. I don't know. Because the way he operated seems like he's done this before, but that's just me. Again, I could be wrong. Again, the same person that's covering these true crime cases, he could be watching those true crime cases as well and learning from just listening to true crime or watching enough Lifetime movies and saying, oh, okay. So that's how you get rid of a person. Okay. Just saying. We got more, though. All right. So I do want to share this. This is with Nancy Grace. Okay. The mom of Sade did an interview with Nancy Grace. I do want to give Nancy Grace a whole shout out. I want to say that. I do appreciate her covering this case. Because like I said, sometimes cases just fly under the radar and don't get the proper attention that they rightfully deserve. Even myself, I try to cover as many as I can. I'm not perfect. Some I miss. I know that there was an Amber Alert for a 13-year-old that took a 3-year-old, if I'm correct. But by the time I got my hands on that and knew about all of that, they were already like the person, that 13-year-old kid who was driving around in I think it was like a white Nissan, I don't remember, white SUV or something like that. Anyway, when I found out about it, it was already wrapped up. They were already detained and all that stuff, right? Yes, Miss Kirby, they're back home. Yes. So a lot of times you try to cover a case, but then while you're covering other big cases, those are obviously staying in the forefront of your mind. So those cases, there's new developments, new information, so on and so forth. So that finally, when you finally get the chance to turn around and talk about a case, a new one at least, either the case is solved or it's wrapped up and all that stuff, right? It can be very, very tough. But I do appreciate Nancy Grace getting this interview. It is not easy. This is not going to be an easy one. Okay? I'm just going to give you a fair warning. But I do appreciate Nancy Grace for bringing this mother on and telling her story. I really do appreciate it. It's crazy. Like I said, no child should ever go through what Sade went through. Ever. No parent should ever be going through what Sade's mother is going through and her family is going through right now. But I just want to let you guys know this is not going to be an easy one. This is Nancy Grace talking with Sade's mother. We're going to take a look at it. It literally just dropped 17 minutes before I went live with you guys. So I want to share this with you guys. Let's watch it together as a family. Please go and check out the full interview or the full show when it drops. But again, I appreciate her covering this and bringing the mother onto the show. Let's take a look at this one.
Sade is a beautiful, beautiful soul. I knew that my kids were very special and different. My parents raised me, they raised us. We are light workers. We put out positive energy, we exert, we help others. I'm a community advocate as a personal way of my life, the way I live. I've worked for others, I help others my whole life. I've raised my daughters that way. My daughters have excelled. I have 2 daughters. This has caused so much emotional effect to my family, my parents who love my baby so much, her grandparents, her uncles, her aunties, the community. Everyone has pulled up. This has affected many people in Milwaukee. I'm coming here today. This is the hardest thing I would ever have to do in my life, to speak Sade's voice. Sade was a beautiful soul. She was an amazing girl. Nancy, everything you spoke was exactly what my daughter exerted. I couldn't have asked for any better daughter. There was things my daughter did that many adults were not even able to accomplish in their lifetimes. And I'll be 43 in a week. My birthday's on April 27th. Sade's birthday's on May the 10th. I had her on Mother's Day. This son of a... I'm gonna watch my language on this platform. This son of a took my daughter.
I have to cut in and out of this, of course, but this is not easy to hear. And yes, that piece of trash is an SOB. I think that goes without saying. And also, here's the thing too: we don't know everything yet. We don't have all the information yet. I'm sure as the investigation continues going, things will get advanced here very, very soon. But to be a mother or a father, this is just tough. Yeah, this is just tough.
From me. A month before she's graduating with her Associate of Arts degree. She works so hard. She's a full-time student. She has 2 full-time jobs. She has her own little bachelorette apartment. She doesn't stay in a college dorm campus. She has her own bachelorette apartment. She has her own car. She pays all of her own bills.
Wow.
This is
Hell of a kid.
traumatizing, Nancy. I never expected this to pull up on my front door. This isn't normal. This is a 2024 Jeffrey Dahmer. I need him held accountable. I need justice for Sade. There has been many Black and brown girls that have been gone missing in Milwaukee for a moment. And all of them are going to be held accountable now because they messed with the wrong family.
Now, I'm wondering what she's trying to allude. I will say, yes, Black and brown kids that have gone missing, there's been a lot all over the country. There needs to be a light shed on them for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. A lot of them fly right under the radar. No one knows about them. We don't hear much about them very often. But I am actually wondering if she's saying that maybe she believes that there's a connection between this monster of an individual and other missing Black and brown women out in Milwaukee. That's what I'm curious about. And hopefully we get that unearthed here very, very soon.
They mess with the wrong family because we're not going to sit quiet and we're not going to sit still.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to call all of them out and we're going to speak for the whole community. Because I'm not about to sit down and I'm not about to sit still on this one. It's justice for Sade, Nancy. It's justice.
Miss Scarborough, I feel like anything I or anybody on this panel could say right now, it pales compared to what you just said. And believe me, Miss Scarborough, this story of Sade has not just touched people in Milwaukee. It has touched people around the world. And when you say you're not going to sit back, neither are we until there is justice for your girl and the other missing and murdered girls across Milwaukee. They're not all just missing. They're dead. Many of them are dead. Guys, with me is Sade's mother, who is in so much pain, but she is joining us tonight to speak out for Sade. What happened? What led up to this night?
Yes, Nancy, yes. Nancy, the last time I spoke to my daughter was on Easter Sunday, okay? We seen her. She came by my parents' home. We spent the Sunday together. This was Easter Sunday, okay? I cooked for them. Both of my daughters, we all met by my parents' house where I'm currently at. We all commute here. All my girls are busy. My youngest is 16. They have a lot of activities. They're working. They go to school. I have very successful and independent, self-sufficient daughters. Sade.
Now, this is just a clip, just a teaser. I think that the full interview comes out tonight. Actually, I'm going to take a look just to see here, just to make sure that I'm not crazy. Maybe it doesn't come out until tomorrow. I'm not quite sure. I don't see anything of that sort. The actual case itself. Yeah, the full thing is not out yet. The full interview, but I promise you, when the interview does come out, we will be watching it as a family. Okay. Now, the interview is on another platform. Yeah, I will definitely take a look at it when I get a chance to look at it. I'm sure it'll be out on YouTube tomorrow, tomorrow night or something of that sort. But that is a nice little teaser of like what I'm sure a lot of people are hoping to get answered, which is what led to this tragedy, what led to the first date. How did they meet? Where did that go? How did that all go down, etc. Now, it may already be on a platform. I'll have to take a look at it when I'm not on the show with you guys. But that is something that I feel we should take a look at as a family. Okay. But Grace, thank you so much. We can easily say what we do now, but hindsight is 2020. What would we have done when we were only 19? I mean, honestly, yes, you're right. Honestly, though, in the day and age that we live in right now, I think, and I don't know, at 19, I don't think I was heavy into true crime or, covering, following, cases. But at the same time, I did find high profile cases that became popular, very intriguing back in that time. So maybe, I don't know, for myself, I'll be honest, you have a point. Hindsight is 2020. But I do also feel that in this day and age, with all the stories that are out there, with all the YouTube channels, with all the news channels that are all merging over to the internet, I think more and more you start hearing these cases and start hearing about these unbelievable things that have happened, that you go, well, maybe I need to be a bit smarter. Maybe I just need to be a little bit more aware of my surroundings and aware of the situation that I'm in before I hop all the way into a party or hop all the way into a house with a guy or a girl or a guy that I just met that night. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like any 19-year-old at this point should always be savvy to a certain extent. Let's be real. There are so many stories that are being seen on Instagram, so many stories that don't even make to YouTube at all, about these crazy, crazy stories of like, oh, this man's tried to poison his wife with a milkshake. Like, and that's a true story, right? I think even Long Crime covered it already. But at the same time, that's a true story. That's a real thing. But I feel like if you're already seeing those kind of pieces, those news clips, if you're following things like that online on Instagram, I think that because the information superhighway is so fast, you would hope that maybe kids will be a little bit more keeping their head on a swivel, be a little bit more savvy out here in these streets. I mean, that's all I can hope for, right? I'm not 19, I was 19 once. But I feel like in this day and age, with everything, you just hope that maybe we'll just be, that our kids, our 19-year-old kids, et cetera, will just be a little bit more aware. But, that's wishful thinking for sure. Sue, thank you so much. There was a case like that up here in Washington State. They went to a sporting event. Then after that, he unalived her and then, dismembered her. Oh, boy. But like I said, it's a story that we hear all the time, right? Campbell, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. Of course, thank you. I appreciate you, Campbell. And, just one more time, just to keep you smiling. There it is. Okay. And for anybody else that's going through a dark time, like really, this is for you guys too. You are loved. You are loved. Don't forget that. You are loved. Dead serious. Miss Kirby, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, love. Thank you so much. But yes, this case is very heartbreaking. No child should ever have to go through anything like this ever. And I wish I could protect every kid out here in the world, really. The amount of stories that we cover with all the way from littles all the way up to adults that have had crimes committed to them, etc. It just hurts my soul. And I want so badly to try to help as much as I can. And I guess the only way I can do it is by talking on this microphone and sharing these stories with you guys. As much as we sit here and we do the clutch them pearls moment, as much as we sit there and get, take just jaw dropped and are shocked at the story, we all should take a bit of this information for ourselves. These are all cautionary stories. These are all cautionary tales for us and for our loved ones. Now, I'm not sitting here saying to be some overly paranoid individual. I'm not here to try to fearmonger or anything of that sort. But I think it is very important that we all remember that we live in some crazy times. In fact, I think these times have always been crazy. The only difference is information gets out. The news covers these stories. And also, these monsters get caught nowadays more than maybe they were getting caught back in the 60s and 70s. Let's just go back a little bit. Think about that. Technology, DNA, etc. The advancement in investigations, the advancement in technology and science. Without that, there are so many unalive cases that would stay completely cold and unsolved if there weren't the advances that we've made over the past decades. Think about that. So in a way, I keep thinking, Are we really ramping up the evil, or have we always been evil? Or has there always been this kind of evil? It's just that they're getting caught more often, and the news is able to catch those stories and tell those stories about those people getting caught. Think about that for a second. Think about that. It's pretty wild if you really think about it. I hope that I'm right, that it's been the same level of evil. Just happens to be that people are speaking up more. You know, people are seeing something and saying something about it. Whereas back in the day, they would see it, but couldn't say anything about it. Maybe they couldn't make that phone call. Maybe they didn't have the ways of showing proof. Maybe they didn't have the phone, right, to film during that time because it was the 70s, right? Everyone still got a rotary phone and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Things to think about. See all kinds of disgusting, disturbing things nowadays. And a lot of those times, those things are getting caught on tape, caught on video, etc., caught on a ring cam. When back in the day, all those things were happening right in front of people, right under their noses. Crimes were happening every day, unbeknownst to the rest of the world. So maybe evil's always been the same. We're just able to capture it a lot faster nowadays. And if that's true, I really hope it is, because I would hate for evil to ramp up even more. I just think that the stories are ramping up because of technology. Like I said, just take a minute to think about that for a second. And we'll talk about it another time. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. Thank you so much. Mimi, also, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Okay. But when this interview, the full interview drops from Nancy Grace, trust me, we will most likely watch it as a family because we should take a look at it. Real talk. But justice for Sade Robinson. My heart goes out to her family. I can only imagine what they're going through right now. But this is definitely a case and definitely a story that needs to be out there a little bit more. Not only because her story deserves attention, but also because there's a lot of us that are out there in the dating scene that need to be a little bit more careful. That's all. They're lurking, even behind that cute little avatar, that little profile photo. Okay? Just because it says love hikes and playing golf and reading the Bible does not automatically mean that that person is all about that life. Be careful out there, guys. And may Sade rest in peace. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. Again, please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it, do what you need to do. It helps get the word out there about this case, about this conversation. Please and thank you. I will be on tomorrow night with Riley Strain's family. I repeat, I will be on tomorrow night with Riley Strain's family at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that conversation. It's definitely going to be worthwhile. All right. So be sure to be there. Okay. Of course, I'll probably I probably will see you before that show even airs. But at the same time, just wanted to let you guys know about that because that's going to be happening tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay. Hit that like button down below. Don't forget to hit that reaction button. Please do me a favor. Crush that subscribe button if you haven't done that yet on YouTube. Hit that follow button on all my platforms, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Hit those follow buttons. That would be greatly appreciated. Hit that join button down below if you're watching on YouTube. Become a member. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. And of course, check out if you want to support the show even further, check out my merch page, pascalmerch.com. Okay, guys. Anyway, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We did 3 shows in one day, guys. 3 shows in one day. I'm tired. I'm going to go lay down. I'll talk to you guys soon. Stay blessed out there. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Have a blessed night, guys. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.